Howdy, folks. Brian of Weird World War Deuce. Try to get so that I don't look angelic with this glow about me. I'm not really that glowy, so it's all just effects. Well, so if you guys didn't see yesterday, I put up my completed mini warm up challenge video on the channel. So you guys go check that shit out. But I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna keep this going, guys. I'm gonna keep these chats going because, guys, I just painted 101 miniatures. That's a lot of shit, man. And if I did that like every month, every fucking month, dude, all my shit would be painted probably, definitely by the end of next year for sure. Like everything would be painted. Because again, guys, I only concentrate on the World War II / Weird World War II genre. That's it. But if I was able to paint 100 minis a month, I would paint up all of my wargaming minis. I would paint, and I'd probably finish off all my my board game minis like Wolfenstein and Incursion and shit like that. And I'd be like sitting pretty. Be sitting pretty. I could just play and not have to worry about painting and shit. I will get sad about not hanging out with you guys. But anywho's, I am gonna try to figure out that I'm starting up a new job next week, so I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be like. But I'm gonna try to figure out that Squarespace and try to do live feeds with people, like doing it. I can't do it on YouTube. I can't host people on YouTube for whatever fucking reason. I guess I don't have enough people or whatever. I don't know. But I guess if that does happen, maybe I don't know. I can do live feeds, but I can't have like people come and like join me in the live feed. I don't know why. Fascists. All right, so I'm kind of in a flux right now. I'm kind of organizing my stuff, guys. So let me show you what we got here. We got I'm writing down my want list and stuff. So I'm going through all my mini boxes. So it's kind of chaotic over here. So I got shit flying all over the place because I've got some stuff that I'm gonna. Because so like the plan is as we keep doing our weird World War II, our battleground, our Weird War II campaign, that I'll as the years go by in the campaign, I'll probably just sell off armies that I no longer need. So like if I ever get to like 1944, I probably end up selling off all my early war shit because it's changed. The shit has changed. And I think so another reason for that, guys, is that I had a really a real deep thinking about my future. Okay. And I don't know if I want my family to be burdened by my collection when I'm dead. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to actively play a lot, play out the stories that I want to play in a time frame, in a timeline, right? And then when those units and those vehicles become outdated in that timeline, I'm probably going to sell it. And I'm probably, or like give it away or send it off as prizes, for the channel or something. Because I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, when one of my buddies passed away and he had a pretty big collection, it was like a burden on his widow. And it really got me thinking, man. And I don't, and it's not necessarily, if you're not married or whatever, but someone is going to have to take it up and deal with it. And if you do have loved ones and partners and, wives and whatever, I don't know if I want that to be in the mix because none of my family are interested in any of this stuff, really. They play it because I play it and they love me, so they play it. but they don't have any interest. So it's just like I do not think I'm going to burden them with it when I go. So that's the plan. So as I'm still 1937, it's still got a long way to go. I'm hoping for another at least 15 years. I mean, 20, hopefully 20. Shoot for 20 more years. I'm 50 now. 70's good run. Most of my family lived to at least their mid 70s. So, um, but yeah. So I'm thinking, 20 years of gameplay. I think I should be able to get all the stories out that I want, get all the battles I wanted to play, and I think it'd be responsible to not burden your family with your collection when you're gone, because it's not like and like when my friend passed away, someone sincerely like reached out to the community and like I was asking questions because he didn't know what to fucking do. And of course, you had those who came out of the woodwork and like, were not very, I don't know. You're gonna have those people, guys, the opportunists. And I'd rather throw my shit away than give it to some fucking asshole, or sell it. I'll sell it to an asshole. I won't, But anyway, but that's what I've been thinking of lately. I'm getting older, man. I'm 50. I got to think about my, when I'm gone. And like, I don't want my kids to have to deal with this shit. And I don't want them to have, like, if they don't know what to do and get, overwhelmed and throw it away. I mean, I would rather not, them throw it away. I'd like somebody like to benefit from it if possible. If they can make a little money on it, that'd be good too. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now in my head. Big old empty space of a head. Okay, so the new thing I'm doing here, guys, since I am in 1937 China, okay, or the Japs and the Chinese are fighting at it, we are going to start working on my World War II German-equipped Chinese. Okay, I got all my normal Chinese done, like my non-German unit Chinese. So that's what I'm going to start working on. Get all that done. And then as time goes by, more than likely what I'll do as the campaign advances is I will probably get rid of my my other Chinese force, the blue guys, because over time I'm basically in my head, in my World War II canon, is that the Germans are going to be backing the Chinese. The Germans never hook up with the Japs, so it's gonna be great. It's gonna be like there's gonna be instances where Germans and Japanese or like naval forces are engaging in each other. Just imagine U-boats, shooting, having a U-boat war in the Pacific. That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. It'd be the Japanese versus the Germans. And then like in China alone, guys, it's like in the mix, it'll be so in my universe, it'll be on mainland China, it's gonna be German backed, Axis backed Chinese, Soviet backed Chinese, and the Japanese, Japanese and her allies. So that'll be in the Americans. The Americans will come in a little bit late, after Pearl. Pearl actually happens, and it's a little bit more devastating than it was in real life. There's actually be a land invasion, and instead of them like worrying about those. They didn't catch the carriers in dock, but they blew the hell out of the surface fleet, right? But this is the kicker, guys. Instead of that third wave, everybody talks about, what if the third wave hit? There's not going to be a fucking third wave. It's going to be a land like invasion wave. So instead of a third aircraft wave, you're gonna have troop barges and troop ships and shit attacking the main isles. So what that'll do in the campaign is that depending on how it's played or what happens in the actual invasion, they may be repulsed, Japanese may be repulsed, or Hawaii could fall. So if Hawaii does fall, that'll slow up the US's advancement because they don't have that forward. Wake is gone, Philippines are going to be gone, and if Pearl and Hawaii is gone, then the states are going to have to regroup in homeland, America, and then venture out from the homeland. So should be interesting. And again, weird war. So it's like, did the Japanese have the forces to invade Hawaii? I mean, there's talk that that was a possibility, but they just didn't do. They didn't They just assumed to just sink the fleet and occupy the island because that's a pretty far. Like for your supply chain to go. But hell, this is a weird war. There might be reasons why their supply chain is easier to upkeep. So, give me 1 second, guys. Someone's tinging me here. But yeah, so I had a really good time on Mini War Mutts Challenge. I like shit like that. I like keep it simple. If you're gonna have some sort of painting challenge or something, right? Don't make it like you got these points and but fuck that. Just paint. Just paint. Paint what you want. Paint as much as you want. It doesn't make people commit to anything big or outlandish. They paint what they want. I think that's good. The reason challenges, or at least the reason I do these challenges, is to just get people involved. It's like the hobby. Just getting people involved in the game is hard enough. But I mean, we all have to like paint, right? So why don't we all just hang out and paint together? Talk shit, do all that stuff. So hell, I mean, where is there it is? But yeah, shit. Talk to folks. Just hang out, do your thing, paint with folks, chill, take a chill pill. And just, like I do, I'll just talk to people through the chat and all that stuff. But yeah, let me get this going here real quick. All right. So if you guys are out there and you have access, I see a couple people here. Make sure that let me know if you guys can hear me and stuff, because I don't want to. If I need to restart it, I will. Because sometimes it's weird. Sometimes over here, it just like acts dumb. Acts dumb. Okay, so now I gotta get my painting reference here because I'm not exactly sure. Mini, right on, dude. Hey, dude, I had a blast, man, with your challenge, dude. It looked like you had a hell of a turnout too so far. I like the idea of it just being loose, not really, not a lot of rules and all that crap, because that puts people off if they're just kind of like fair weather painters or something, and they don't want to commit to some big ordeal and whatever. I think people don't, they don't commit to it. So I think it's a good idea just to kind of make it just just chilled. Everybody hanging out, just painting, conversating. This is great because we're all just like chilling and talking and painting and stuff. I know. I wasn't sure because I got that new job I'm starting up next week. So I just wanted to. I was at a good stopping point for the event, so I just decided to pull the trigger on it. Joe, what's up, buddy? Ooh, static grad. You know what, guys? In my 40 years plus of wargaming, I have never used static grass in my life. I think it's fucking fascinating. It's just like flocking it, but then you actually zap it with like a battery and it stands up. I have just never done it. I don't know why. I just never have. I think it looks fantastic. Static rat is fantastic, but for some reason I never did it. I mean, it's those little static makers. It doesn't cost much, does it? I don't even think so. I'm trying to find my notes for the colors that I was going to use for these Chinese. That's one cool thing about like I know a lot of you guys read Osprey books and stuff, right? And Osprey's it's a good series of books for just kind of general knowledge, and it's a good thing to just kind of get the what generally happened. And they're paint the stuff nowadays, their paintings and all that stuff in the book are fantastic. Back in the day when they were first being published, they're kind of hit or miss, to be honest with you. The artwork was some of it was a little, but I mean, the stuff nowadays for sure is fantastic. And it's good. But I was never good with like reference colors, like looking at a color at something and then going, oh yeah, that's that's tan gray or whatever the fuck. When I do that, when I dive into figuring out the color palettes for these uniforms and weapons or whatever, I like make notes because my brain doesn't work like it used to. So I got to write this shit down, or like I get like these little things like I cut these out. Like I had bought like a bunch of Vallejo paint sets, right? I got the Soviet armor and infantry paint set, but I cut it out. I cut out the color swatch, so I have that reference still. And then I got the American armor and infantry paint set. Then I got the German infantry paint set. And then I got the German Waffen SS paint set for the camo and stuff. So check this out, Joe. Woodland Scenics is no more, dude. I heard that it's closed down. So all that shit that we grew up with, the lichen and the tree sets and all that stuff are gone. They're not making it anymore. So get what you can because it's just not being produced anymore by them, at least, or at least that's what I heard. I venture because I venture into the modeling, groups and the channels and stuff. And yeah, it's like, oh shit, Woodland Scenics, dude. I still have my original big pack of Woodland Scenics lichen. Let me show it to you guys real quick. So this bag right here, guys, okay? This bag right here. This is what I use for my bushes and stuff, right? This was the original big bag of lichen that I had bought back when I was like a teenager, dude. And it's still kicking. I mean, it's all slimy and it's a little bit, it's not as fluffy as it used to be. It's a little slimy. It's full of fucking dog hair and my hair or whatever the hell. But this stuff is still kicking, man. I love it. I use it all the time. Mel hates it because it's an elbow sticker. It sticks on her elbows when she gets on the table, and it's just like she pulls up and there's all these. It's just a lichen growth on her elbow. It's great. I finally, one of the big scenery thing that everybody does that I hadn't done yet, right, was cutting up floor mats for fields for farm fields, and I actually did it, and they look fantastic. So all of this just came from one mat. right? So I just cut it into different shapes. So you got like you got farm fields here, different sizes. I finally did that, and they look fantastic, man. There's a whole bunch of it, and that's just one mat. The tricky part is trying to find a mat that doesn't have like some sort of like doesn't have like writing on it that says like welcome or wipe your feet or some shit like that. But guys, I am like I've painted up all my straight like World War II Japanese. That's all painted up. But I still have some weird World War II Jap stuff to do. Oh, they merged. Oh, okay. So my mistake, guys. Woodland Scenics didn't fold. They merged with all game terrain. Okay, that's good. Because is it the same product or is it like shit? Oh, that's cool, dude. Yeah, basing is easy shit. That's when you start putting the Elmer's glue on it, and you're just like catching your breath from all that painting you just did. But yeah, so like, well, I'll continue back to like my color swatch stuff. Okay, good. It's still the same product. Okay, fantastic. I need to get so I've got like tons of the pine tree, pine or the pipe brush trees. And I've got a bunch of winter trees, like flock trees, and I got fall trees, but I need winter like trees that don't have any foliage on them. I need to pick up because if I remember correctly, Scenics used to have that big like tree pack. It came with like 20 trees of varying size, like the trunk and the limbs and stuff, and then you would like do the gluing of that was insane. But anyway, I just want to paint up the trees so they're like I can put them in my winter battles and just have these naked trees. TG, what's up, dude? We are just rapping. We are hanging, trying to get some painting. I'm gonna start painting up my World War II German equipped Japanese or Chinese tree armatures. That's it. Yeah, those are great, guys. So like, I'm kind of like I try to play like I have seasonal armies, right? So I have like cold weather. Then you got your normal army guys, and then like if I have desert forces, I'll have desert like. I try to keep everybody in their in the equipment and clothing in the environment that I'm playing. It's just OCD and shit. So we were talking about paint swatches and shit. So I use Vallejo for the most part, right, guys? So I guess Vallejo had a big like color conversion thing. I guess they changed up the name. So I got this. It helps me. There's a Colors of War line and then the old Vallejo. So this helps me if I find some older paints at like cons or whatever. Now I'm using these paint kind of swatch things from I believe these are from Flames of War. Okay, that's weird. It's like Flames of War is like 15 mil. Why are all these detailed pictures? For like their 15 millimeter dudes, but whatever. So like I've got one for like the Brits. Here's one for the Brits and their vehicles, and it's using Vallejo paint. So because I use Vallejo for the most part, these are really helpful. Oh, they have. Oh, so Mutt was telling Mini War Mutt's telling me that Vallejo has their own speed paint called Express Paints. He heard it's pretty good. Yeah, dude. I mean, Vallejo, in my opinion, it like when you paint with it, that shit sticks on there like really well. You don't have to it doesn't thin out and just kind of lose its color. I mean, it's like it paints thick and hard. It's a really great paint. I've really enjoyed painting with them. I used to paint with Tamiya, right? But Tamiya tends to get dry really fucking quick. It dries out, and then when you're trying to remix it, you gotta like you can't really use water. I was using like was I using like alcohol or I can't remember what I was using. But yeah, it would dry out, then it'd get all tacky and shit. I'm just like, Tamayo is a good airbrush paint if you're just gonna do an airbrush for it. But then hey, brush painting with Tamayas, I don't like it. I never had very much success with it. Percy, what's up, dude? Oh, cool, Joe. You're in the Vallejo. Yeah, I mean they're great. I mean it's relatively decent prices. I mean they're not outrageous, and they have the best bottles, the little dabber bottles. These are the best. This bullshit is bullshit, 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 and then bullshit, 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 bullshit. Excellent, 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 excellent. These are pretty good. The craft paint ones where they have the little flip. It's basically the dauber. It's just like you just squirt a little bit of that. Now this craft paint shit I use. I use this stuff for the big projects. So I have a lot of craft paint, and these are like, dude, this is like 70 cents, 75 cents, and it's like full. So if you're doing like big projects, don't be afraid to use craft paints, guys, because they're cheaper and they're not the best like coats, but they work. They fucking work. Yeah, dude, GW pots, they're designed to fuck you, just like everything else with GW. Maximum moment money and just like it's gonna fuck you somehow. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, $8. Damn, $8 for a bottle of paint. That's $8. Damn, that's so. I mean, I have to admit, I have 3 GW paints that I love. Right, I love their lead belcher for the metal. Okay, I use their lead belcher paint for the metal that I use. I have their Abaddon black is like fucking black hole black. I think it's awesome. It's a great covering black. And then I use this blood for the blood god for my blood. For like, the blood shit. But yeah, those are the only GW paints I use. That's it. Oh, so yeah, and that's a good idea, Joe. It's like buy your GW paints and just buy the bottles because I see these for sale all the time. In fact, I was at Hobby Lobby just yesterday actually, and they were selling like a pack of like a dozen. I don't remember how much it was, but there was a dozen of these, just the empty bottles. So shit, yeah. I mean, just pour that GW paint, because it's good paint. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Citadel paint has always been good in my opinion. Even the older shit. When I first got into wargaming, like dedicated like 28 millimeter wargaming. I used the Citadel paints with the the fucking crazy bottles there too. But yeah, it's just the pro acrylic dark metal is better. Nerd. What's up, buddy? Oh, that sucks. Agrax is running like $15 and you're likely to tip the pot over at least once and waste 33%. Dude, it's just guys, a this is not a good design for brush painters. It isn't. It's because brush painters are going to be prone to keep the bottle open and dip, and that shit's just going to dry. It just dries out, right? So, I mean, and again, this shit is the best. And everybody's doing like wet palettes and stuff nowadays. I don't even do wet palette. I still have my 40-year-old fucking my paint paint thing. This thing's been around. There's been a couple marriages, bunch of kids, all sorts of shit. I know. I just, it's just like, I mean, I don't know why. I mean, it's nefarious, dude. Seriously, it's not cool. I don't know why they do that. Anyway, They don't give a shit. All right, so continue my. So here's my Japanese stuff, painting guide, and I usually print up like the ranks on the back. I've showed you guys this before, but here's like the ranks of the Japanese military army, at least army. They got a Soviet one. And then I got a Polish one. I need to print the ranks of those things on the back too. I got my Polish one. I got my French. I got my early war Germans. And then the SS uniform stuff. SS had the coolest fucking uniforms, man. I love the autumn. The autumn what is it called? The not the P. I guess it's what the autumn oak leaf pattern. That's my favorite. It's fucking awesome looking. It just looks cool. It's really easy to paint too. I mean, it's only 3 colors. It's not. It looks intimidating, but it's really not. It's pretty easy. And then there's the SS. Their ranks and shit. And then I've got here's Chinese one. Now I couldn't find a Chinese one from Vallejo, but this is from an Osprey page. And what I did is I just basically kind of figured out some colors, some Vallejo colors on there, and I just labeled it. And then here's all the Chinese, the KMT and the CCP shit, or CPC, Communist Chinese, yeah, CCP, yeah. There you go. Then I got some Jap like vehicle, like how to paint the. I'm gonna have a bunch of Japanese vehicles, so I needed to like figure out and like the paints I use on. Now this is gonna be right here. Is my this is what my Atlanteans are gonna look like when I paint them up. This is a I don't know who painted them up, but this is a picture of the super figs. I think they're shark men. But that's the line of minis that I use for my Atlanteans. I'm probably going to paint them up that way because that looks really fucking cool. Those look great. And then I got a British one. The first one was early war. This is more like the late war stuff. There you go. Hot damn. Hot damn. Hey, Mel's on board. What's up, baby? Well, Brian, you're eating all those enchiladas, and it's gonna back you up, brother. Go eat that oatmeal. Yeah, so Artisan, yeah, they do. They had a big old like kind of like on their website. I want to say it was they had a big one on their web. I remember I'm a big fan of Artisan Design. I love their fucking minis are epic. I love especially their cold weather stuff. Man, their cold weather stuff looks fantastic, man. I have most of it. But yeah, so that is what I was up to. Yeah, Artisan, they got a huge catalog of stuff. I kind of wish they would do more, fill out some of their units, some of their World War II stuff, because like for me to look at a mini line, right, and say, wow, that's a great mini line. I mean, other than you can have a great mini line, only have a couple minis and shit. But when I look at if I'm going to dedicate the money. So when I buy an army, I buy at least a platoon level of infantry. So you're talking like headquarters unit. You're talking, 3 infantry squads. And then you're talking about like a heavy weapons squad or platoon, right? Which is just like guns. So usually what fits in my chest X box is I can fit in like, what is it? Is 100 and I think I can fit like 100. What is it? Hold on a second. Let me see how many I can fit in there. Use my math. Yeah, I got fit 112 28 millimeter figures in a Chess X box. Okay, in one of the gray boxes. So like in this, I can fit 112 28 millimeters in here. Okay, so that's what I do. Boom, platoon. This is my Chinese platoon. Pow, my army, my Chinese army right here. Um, so. Oh yeah, dude. So Mel needs to get. She should do some painting too. That'd be good. Yeah. So like, I have like different color. Vallejo does a great like. They have a bunch of different skin colors, but I wrote on the bottles like the white devil skin. This is for the white, the kind of like European skin color tones. They have like an Asian skin tone, and then I've got like African and Middle Eastern and all that shit. But I write it on the bottle because shit, because the bottle will like when you look at it, you can't quite see it. It hadn't been shaken up in a while, so you gotta make those notes on the bottle. But yeah, so a platoon for me to commit to a full like line of minis. Hey.
I'm here to steal something.
Shit.
I need that little holder for the minis.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can I have one of these?
You can borrow it, yeah.
I'm gonna have it.
You have it?
I'm gonna have it.
I have two. You want the white one or that one? This one looks like you're a veteran.
No, I'll get the new one. Because I'll probably.
Hey,
you ready?
Thank you.
Hello.
See?
Eat your face off.
Power of the P, man. Just get what you want. But yeah, so when I buy a platoon, I'll get a platoon of infantry, and then you'll get like your auxiliary stuff. Like you'll have like maybe some anti-tank rifle teams. You might have like some forward observers, some engineers, stuff like that. Just kind of like you don't need bunches of them. You just need a couple teams of it. So that's what I do. So when I'm looking for like when I wanted to pull the trigger, unfortunately, when I was trying to buy my Chinese, right? No one made early war Chinese except Brigade. Okay, Brigade Games. Now listen, Lon's a nice guy, but me and him had a big falling out, and but he does have a great line of minis, right? So he had the most like detailed line at the time. But I would say now the best line for Chinese, like early war Chinese, would be Eureka. Eureka had just came out with a brand new line of World War II Chinese, and they are fantastic. They got German equipped and just like the normal equipped. They're fantastic. The only big problem I have with Brigade stuff is that it sizes small with most other lines. Okay, it's probably 28 millimeters to the head, to the top of the head, not to the eyes. So it's true 28. So they go small. So this is an artisan. This German's an artisan, and this is that's a Brigade. They're a little bit smaller. Oh, the Brigade story. There's a fay, man. If you have a good story, you want to fucking tell it. No, again, Lon's a nice guy. I mean, he for the most part, in my opinion, he has a great line of minis. He's a good person and all that stuff, but his customer service is for shit. I know he's a one-man guy, and that's what he goes off of. He's like, guys, I got conventions this week, so don't, if you order something that's going to be late, that's one thing. If he says that in advance, that's cool. But like if he's sitting on, I ordered a platoon of infantry, right? I haven't heard anything from him from over a month. So I reach out to him like, hey, dude, what's up? Where's my shit? And he's like, oh, I haven't sent it out. I've been really busy. That's the worst fucking thing you could say to me. It's one thing if like a couple weeks in, it's like, hey, Brian, look, dude, I'm really backed up. It's going to be a couple more weeks. Is that cool? I could give you a refund if it's not. Give those options to your customers, man. I would have said, yeah, that's cool, man. I understand. But no, he just assumed that I was just going to sit there and fucking wait whenever he decided to fucking do it. No, that's shitty customer service. So again, Lon's a nice guy. I've dealt with him. Like I've sold him some of my my molds and stuff for some of my stuff back in the day. Great guy, fair guy, sells his stuff at a reasonable price, has a great collection, but just I think his customer service is for shit. But anyway, that's why, and he didn't want me to order from him anymore after that, calling him out, and I agree, I won't. So, oh really? So Joe is saying that Warlord Atlantic Digital has come out with some Chinese World War II. Really? Shit, man. That because I got this 3D printer that's collecting dust. I have got to do something with that damn thing. I was going to do it this weekend, but I finished up Minnie's Warmut thing, and I wanted to, I got shit I got to do today later, so I'm probably not going to get to it. With Battle Valor, $400. Damn, dude. It's like, look, I don't know. Like, I used to own a miniatures company, guys, right? And I was a one-man guy, and I know what it's like. I'm not selling massive product line. I had probably like a dozen or so minis to sell. But, dude, you cannot take people's fucking money and not, like, get it out to them. You can't sit on it. You can't say, oh, sorry. So, no, dude, the social contract, the commercial contract that you have before, with those commercial sellers, right? You've already upheld your bargain and you gave them fucking money. Now it's up to them to do their part. And if they're dragging their fucking feet, oh, we've had, production problems. Look, I mean, that kind of shit happens, but you don't do a mass mailer, form letter. You reach out to every fucking person that is affected and say, look, man, it's like Percy, look, man, I'm sorry. We got behind, we're going to hammer this through. I dealt with something called Guerrilla Games. I ordered some Shadows of Normandy stuff from them, right? And I started to bitch. I'm like, what the fuck? Where's my shit? And they're like, oh, we're sorry, dude. You'll get on top. We'll put yours on top. I'm like, okay, so that's great and all for me. But then it's like, what about all those other fucking people? I mean, it's not fair. There might be guys who order their shit before me and just aren't vocal. What are you going to put them below me because I'm, the squeaky wheel? That's not fucking cool. I mean, you should just do it. Just fucking do it, or don't sell it, or put a big flashing, put it on a big girl's breast, flashing on your screen, saying there may be a delay within a week or two. Just heads up. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. That's true, man. You're right, nerd. It's just like, and that's another reason why printers are worth the money. I need to fucking do mine, dude. Seriously. I just need to do it. But yeah, guys, because look, I mean, I'm all about, like, what I used to have a company, and I want to give money to the little guy. I want us to, help, because look, we have enough. The hobby has enough money to spread it around to everybody, but when you have these kind of issues, when you have like these crowdfunders that fuck you, or they're crowdfunding for the next crowdfunding kind of crap, the next project, this project has to be funded by the next, the new crowdfunder, or all that crazy crap. People, you gotta wise up. You cannot just keep giving these people money and say, oh, that was okay, it was a mistake. I mean, there's sometimes it's legitimate, right? But then, like, there's always another option. And, like, 3D printer is the fucking option nowadays, dude. I'm telling you. Their shenanigans are going to put the industry. But, yeah. Oh, dude, what the hell? So, Percy says he ordered 2 packets of Cavalry, right? But he didn't get any fucking horses for it. He just got the riders. What the fuck? That's just asshole. So, Kurzian, you're an asshole. You send him fucking riders and no horses. Come on, dude. That's fucking that's an asshole move, man. I haven't done shit. It's just sitting there, man. I need to do it, nerd. Honestly, for the last couple weeks, guy, for the last month, I've been looking for work. Woo! I don't know, man. I'm a 50-year-old man. It's a whole different world out there from what I'm used to. There's no personal interviews. There's no, you don't apply in person or on paper anymore. It's all fucking through apps and websites and job boards and all this shit. And it's just like, oh, it lets you apply for jobs, like hundreds of fucking jobs. I mean, I'm getting emails for like, I don't remember the job I fucking applied for, but I got something, so it's awesome. I do. It's gonna be from. It's either gonna be a Lemmy, like Lemmy as a like a tank commander, like a German tank commander, or I was gonna do like I have some STLs for like some Nazi she-wolf chicks with like hot chicks with machine guns. So either one would be cool. That but yeah, it's just I need to fucking do it. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm painting, but I'm gonna do it, nerd. I promise. Need to do it. Need to do it. All right, so I need to put away my white devil flesh and get my Asian flesh. I use so for the Asian color, like Asian tone, I use dark flesh. Vallejo 70.927 dark flesh. So that's what I use for the Asian skin tones. But we were all talking one of the streams about when 3D printers start printing in color. Like, and I know that's already around and stuff, but I'm talking about like, it's like when it prompts on the screen, it says, what color style would you like to have? And it'll get a list of like all these famous like miniature artists or painters or some shit. And you can choose, oh, I want to choose, this Golden Demon Winter guy, and then beep, 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 prints out. It's like paints like his style or some shit. That would be awesome. You're just like, damn. How they already got 3D, like in like the 3D like art kind of like that. I don't know anything about it. I've never done it, but it looks like the from the art that I've seen, you can choose the styles of like what the art, the style of the art. So I wonder if I guess in the like the editing program or whatever, it asks you like what style you want it in the artwork or some shit. I don't know. Those are going to be the new artists. The new artists are going to be the people who can like talk to the program and get exactly the parameters and whatever that the customer or whoever needs. Those will be the guys who are, the new art guys. Well, and the guys that are making the programs and shit, the AI, the programming and stuff. I mean, I love artists, man. I'm a big comic book guy and all that shit, and you got to give credit to those guys. Those guys really have an amazing skill. But 3D print, 3D AI art is here and it ain't going away. It's just not gonna. So you got like any other job that everyone has. There's no such thing as job security in this world. I don't think there ever has been. So you have just got to be nimble on your feet, man. You gotta live a life where you have emergency funds and just because the world is so you just don't know. Just don't know. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Like maybe like a mech or something. Like like the wings are blue and like the body is white and the head is black or something like that. That's kind of interesting. I mean, it's true. It's true. I mean, look at librarians. I mean, librarians was like, I'm sure. I mean, look, I actually applied to be able when I got out of college. I got a degree in history, right? And I'm like, man, I'm gonna be a librarian. That sounds kind of cool. Shit, they want you to have a master's degree and all this shit to be a librarian. I'm like, for a fucking librarian? but yeah, so it's like that used to be like a badass, like, position. But now, shit, dude, the only thing that libraries do nowadays are have like, drives to get you to, vote, or there's like community get-togethers, or whatever. The books, I mean, there's books there, but it was, we got a pretty good library in the town that I'm in. And I was always a library guy, man. I was always at the library. And but nowadays, what the hell you need a library for? You know? Another thing that libraries are used for are like computer like rooms where, people who don't, it's usually, the lower income, they can't afford a computer, which is a lot. And nowadays, like I was saying, for you to apply to a job, you need a fucking computer or a phone, dude. I had to go buy a cell phone, dude. It's like, you know, I had worked from home and I was raising my kids at home. I homeschooled my kids and all that shit. And it's like, I didn't have why the fuck would I need a cell phone? I had a phone jacked into the wall. I mean, I don't leave, I don't need that crap. But then I had to get it because it's like every job out there, you have to have the app, or, you got to have, and if you didn't, like, if you're an older person or just someone who just doesn't have the resources, how the fuck do you apply for a job? You know what I mean? If you don't have a computer or a phone, it's so strange, man. And then like the jobs that do apply, allow for in person, it's usually, like lower income jobs or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, go, we're having a job fair. It's like, okay, well, I don't have a car. How do I get there? But anyway, but that's like anything. Oh, dude, not having a car in America, you're fucked. You are fucked. You gotta have a car. You gotta learn to drive in America. It's true, dude. So like, check this out. And this is a personal experience, dude. I've been homeless before, dude. I've lived in my car. I've lived in fucking hotels. I mean, there was a point where during the pandemic, like I was renting a home. I had been there for almost 10 years, right? And then all of a sudden the landlord, the owner said, yeah, we're gonna sell the house. You gotta leave. You have 30 days. I'm like, what? And it's the middle of fucking COVID, right? So me and Mel are like, what? And like, they have like all the moratoriums, the eviction moratoriums and all that shit. But we were getting out, right? We're gonna have to get out anyway. So it's like we couldn't find a house, man. We couldn't find a place to live because nothing was moving, right? Everybody was stationing, like housing in place, for whatever the next, guidelines are for whatever. So yeah, we ended up like living on the street. Not the street. I mean, we had car and shit. We had money to, to like live in a fucking hotel and stuff. But dude, we had to. We found a place, and then the place was like, oh yeah, you can move in, but you can't move in until the 30th of next month. So it's like, so yeah, so for like a couple months, we had to, we're living in our car and living in the hotel, and it wasn't because we didn't have any money. It's just we didn't have anywhere to stay. So, like, what if you're homeless, right, for whatever reason, and you need a job, but you don't have an address at the moment, right? Or you don't have a phone or a computer. It sucks, man. It's just like people think the ease, but they don't. It's just like anything. There's always those unintended consequences, right? And a lot of times, like you said, the poverty locks. The system is now set up to have this stuff that you have to get anywhere. And, so it's like they can't get anywhere because they can't get anywhere because they need the shit. They don't have the money for the shit to get it. It's just a fucking mess, man. It sucks. It sucks. And that's why like the library has become kind of this like this way station for people who don't have the tech that they can like, they can put up their, they can make an application or they can make a resume on the computers and print it up and whatever. But then, the library charges fucking money for it. What if you don't have any fucking money? You need to print up like 5 pages for whatever reason, right? And I think the library that we're at, for you to print up a page is like 25 cents or some shit. What if you don't have any fucking money at all? Like none. It's like, oh yeah, you can be hired, but we need a copy of your social security and your blah 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 whatever. Well, I don't have a copier. Well, okay, well, we need that. We can't go further until you give that to us. It's insane, man. It sucks, dude. I mean, I feel for the poor, dude. I've been there. I'm there. I mean, I'm not a rich guy. Shit, but furthest from, and I've worked hard, dude. And I'm getting older, man, and I'm not 20 anymore, and like these, so I'm having to find work that's not like gonna kill me, where I can maintain it and sustain it. And then I don't know. It's just weird. It's true, man. It's true. It's like these social. You're right, dude. These social safety nets are supposed to help like people bounce back from shit like this, man. But it just seems like another fucking cog in it all, and it just becomes another of the like homeless man, dude. Whatever, wherever you are on the situation, okay, whatever side you're on or whatever it is, it's fucking complicated. Okay, people aren't just homeless because they're fucking drugged out or they're mentally ill or whatever. I mean, I told you my story why I was homeless. We had jobs and all that shit, right? So it's like that's not the reality of it, man. And a lot of people are like one paycheck or one like car breakdown or you get arrested, right? You get arrested. This is another thing. Like the bail laws. So check this out. So like let's say in my situation, right? I get a new job, right? And I get pulled over and there's a warrant for my arrest. I know it's not fucking true because I haven't done anything, but it doesn't matter. It says Brian Cottrell, you got a warrant, you're arrested. So I get arrested, I go to fucking jail, can't go to work, right? I get fired. I'm in jail for a week or whatever it is. I can't pay bail. I don't have any fucking money, right? So I can't get out. When it comes to court trial, they realize it was a mistake or whatever the fuck. I'm found innocent and released, right? Well, that doesn't fucking help me. I lost my fucking job. I could have it could have been a point where wasn't able to pay my rent. I lose my fucking house. It's that kind of shit, man. And shit like that happens all the fucking time. So it's not always enough to just have a job and like you'll be fine. It's fucking bullshit. What if your air conditioner breaks down or your car breaks down? You have one car and your car breaks down. Well, how do you get to fucking work? Nowadays we have Ubers and shit. That shit's expensive. But yeah, but still, I mean, it's just, it's true. It's true. The law is only, illegal if you can't pay for it, right? If you can't pay for it, it's a fucking tax. They tax you. Oh, Brian, you spit on the ground. I'm like, well, shit, I was coughing, dude. I was coughing that, so I had to spit it out. Well, it doesn't matter. Here's a $500 fine. I remember, I used to think that laws were for justice, are just. They're not. They're fucking. I mean, don't get me wrong. They are. Don't get me wrong. But for the most part, a lot of these laws on the books are just revenue collectors for the fucking state or for the government. And I'm not naive. I mean, I'm not a big cop guy. I'm a big cop watch kind of guy. But we need police. Don't get me wrong. I'm not stupid. We need the police. But I think there's a better way that they can serve than just the way that they do. And like the guarantees that a cop is offered is a hell of a lot more than a fucking citizen that it gets. I don't like that. The servants should be on the same par as the citizen, man. They shouldn't get any kind of special treatment because they're cops. If they, if they break, if they do something wrong, dude, they do something wrong. They're not protected by the color of the law. Oh, they didn't know the law. It doesn't fucking matter. You can't just arrest somebody because you think they did something wrong. They got to follow those parameters. And there should be repercussions if they do something wrong, man. Just like we do. If we do fucking something wrong, get our nuts squashed. See that? I mean, that makes sense. It's like, it's like, what was it like? Okay, so like in the '60s, right? I can't remember the family, but one of the big pharmaceutical families, right? They their whole thing was that they're pushing Valium, right? Valium. Valium works for everything. Valium, take it, Valium. Right? So then all of a sudden, all the housewives and everybody's taking Valium, and they realize, oh shit, it's really fucking bad. And then the government's like, okay, that's, you guys are doing predatory practices, whatever, right? So guess what? They're found guilty of doing this shit, whatever it is, and they're fined like $1 billion. Let's just say $1 billion. I don't know the exact numbers, like $1 billion, right? Well, guess what? In that time frame that they're pushing all this Valium and all these people dying and all this crazy shit happened, right? They made like 15 billion. So, or 35 billion or whatever the fuck it is, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, here you go. No jail time, no censure. It's just a fine, right? Well, when the opioid problems and stuff happen in the States, right? It's the same fucking family, the same pharmaceutical family, right? Did the same thing, no jail times, no, nothing like that. Just a fine. Like 1%, like 0.0001% of all the money that they made from their actions. There's no justice there. I want to say, if I remember correctly, in Texas, there's a maximum payout for that you can have for a lawsuit, right? So like if someone runs you over, jacks you up, or burns down your house, or whatever the fuck, it's like 250 grand. That's it. That's it. That's the high. I think that's what it is. There's a cap. So like you go to the doctor, to get a colonoscopy, and you wake up and they've cut out your liver and one of your lungs. The maximum you're gonna get is 250 grand. That's it. I don't know, dude. I don't know. And they were trying to the law was initially instigated so people wouldn't bring frivolous lawsuits to the court, right? Well, is that justice? I mean, if you have the money to take it to court, court should be available for everybody, right? If you have some sort of, you feel wronged, that's what the fucking court system's for, right? You go, you have a judge judge you, you have a jury to judge it, give your case. But no, if you don't have the money, you can't do it. If you don't have the representation, you can't do it. So guess what you do? You just shoot him in the street instead because it's easier, right? It's like fucking just madness, man. It's fucking madness. Oh yeah, maybe an executive will take a golden parachute away from the situation. Exactly. It's like the whole thing. Remember Volkswagen sold some car. This happened in the States. I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the States, Volkswagen was selling some hybrid car that was toting it's it's going to save the environment and all this blah blah blah, so all the and that's cool. If you're into the environment, I'm all about conservation too. I don't think you should burn tires in your front yard and just pour oil down in the fucking gutters and shit. I'm for that. I don't want that to happen either. But so the people are buying these cars in the idea that these are going to be low emission, help the environment, whatever, right? Well, it finds out that Volkswagen actually designed some sort of like sensor in the car that would, when someone plugged like the emission sensor into, like, you know, like when they're doing like an emission test or whatever, this little, you know, widget or whatever it is would show that it would pass. Okay. No matter what, it would pass. It would pass the emissions and everything's cool. Okay. So a year or so goes by, right? And there's some, you know, some mechanic in like California, you know, some mom and pa mechanic, right? And he's looking at this shit and he's like, what the hell? What is this thing? It's just some dude, some honest dude says, wait a minute, that's, and he realizes it's some fucking widget that's lying about its emissions. Well, all hell breaks loose and the government gets involved and whatever. So what did they do, right? So the only reason, and this is the only reason that Volkswagen decided, like relented and like decided to do something, is that the United States was threatening them with like, we're gonna remove your selling, the ability to sell product in the United States. That was the big thing, right? Oh, they got fined, sure, you know, but it don't matter. They made, it's a ridiculous fine, but it wasn't until they said, you know, we're talking about you're not going to be able to sell Volkswagen in the States anymore. That's when they relented. But I think what happened, I think maybe one of the CEOs or one of the executives got in trouble. Just one of them. Nothing, you know, nothing happened to the company. Company's still fine, but one guy got in trouble, and then I don't know if he did jail time or whatever, but one person lost their job, I think. And then they had to promise to take back all those vehicles, right, that were bad. You know, I guarantee what happened to all those vehicles that people brought back in. They just sold them to Africa, the Middle East, Asia, South America. It's just like, that's the kind of world we live in, guys. And everybody just forgets about it. It's okay. It's all good. Lying, the person's lying to you. I'm not big into people lying, man. I'm not. I mean, you can lie to me, that's fine. But if you like cheat me or you know, do something like that or steal from me, yeah, we're gonna have a fucking problem. Annan, what's up, dude? Yes, I think that's the Netflix show that I watched, dude, about it. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, so VW had programming that changed how it ran to make emissions cleaner. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a big thing now, and at least in the States, is, you know, assholes are cutting people's like catalytic converters out in their cars. Just like Jesus. And then they like, I guess the rare earth elements or minerals or whatever that is, rare, like what is that? Just whatever it is. You know, they're selling them on the black market and they break apart these converters and then they sell the metals on the market. There's always a fucking asshole, dude. If someone was cutting, this is Texas. It doesn't matter where the fuck you're from. Some guy's underneath my car, you know, sawzawing something off. First of all, if he doesn't eat a bullet, he's gonna have a heel right in his fucking groin, and he's gonna get his ass kicked. I mean, I'll just leave his ass in the street. I don't give a fuck. You don't do that shit, man. And people need to like, we need like, you know, if you wrong somebody, dude, there has to be repercussions, man. They don't just get off. Man, I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter, man. But I mean, I'm not a fucking victim either. I'm not gonna just sit there and take it. And that's with government or individuals. I don't give a shit. I'm the easiest guy to talk to too. If you want to talk to me about something, you disagree with me, that's fine. We can hash that out. I'm not quick to fight. I'm not quick to swing. That's not what it's about. But look, if you wrong me, there's going to be repercussions. And that's like, if it ain't mine, guys, I don't fucking touch it. If it ain't mine, I don't touch it. That's what I was taught as a as a fucking child. My mom would say, Brian, if you find something and it's not yours, don't touch it. It's not yours. You didn't, it's not yours. So don't mess with it. If you like something of somebody else's, just admire it from afar, you know, and, if it's something that you want, work for it, work towards it, and get it yourself. I am, dude. I am painting, paint. You got me addicted to like getting shit done. One thing I find myself doing, like when I'm painting, guys, or like when I'm doing these projects, is I forget to change out my paint water, my dirty water, my cleaning water, and it's like because I often use the same water, like I use the same little like bowl when I do my flocking, when I flock the minis. I'll clean the Elmer's glue off the paintbrush on that too, and I'll forget to like clean that out or dump it after I do that, and then I'm painting and I'm like, shit, I got Elmer's glue floating around in that water. So I don't know if that does anything, but so um there's a guy on YouTube. His channel is Zorba something like that. He's a Aussie expat living in New Zealand, and this guy is a fucking madman. He's amazing, dude. He does all these like he's really big into Lord of the Rings, right? He's like a fucking fanatic, and he's like building all these like he's building like mirror whatever. He's building all the cities and shit. It's pretty impressive. If you guys want to check out some like this guy's definitely like some sort of like engineer or some shit. It's pretty amazing what this guy can do with foam core and it's pretty impressive. Give him a chance. I love his hair too. He's like crazy fucking hair like mine. It's just like this guy's a madman. He's driven. He's passionate. It's awesome. He has a line of. I think he sells a line of like, like gaming hobby stuff, like basing materials and shit like that. But anyway, I was watching a video of his lately, and he's like building Minas Tirith, and it's pretty awesome. I'm just like shit. That would be so awesome to play on. It's pretty amazing what some of these guys can do. Oh shit. So Brian's saying that his neighbors are starting to bust out the Halloween decor. My brother, he had that's his big thing is doing a massive Halloween like decoration thing on his house. He's got a really big house, right? And it's like one of those rich neighborhoods where people like go during Halloween to get their kids candy. They just drive around the neighborhood because it's like all rich people like giving out like full candy bars and shit. But yeah, he has this big old like his yard is fucking amazing looking. It's awesome. So right now, guys, I'm just doing all the flesh on all these guys. How I usually do it is I paint the flesh on a mini and all like I'm doing a platoon right here. So I'll do the whole platoon's like flesh stuff. And then I'll come in and I'll do the block colors, like the uniforms. Um, and then I'll do the detail stuff. And then the weapons are usually very last. And then I touch up any, like whatever. So that's usually how I paint. If I was smart, I'd just airbrush these fuckers. But whatever. I airbrush my vehicles. All my vehicles, I do. I'll airbrush all my vehicles. But like miniatures, for some reason, I mean, I don't know. I would usually airbrush this, but I'm not for some reason. I airbrushed all my jabs, all the base color uniform of all the jabs, but I don't know. This is fine, I guess. Dude, that sucks. Man, fucking people, dude, stealing shit. And assholes. If you, look, anybody listening is a thief, you're an asshole. Don't be an asshole, man. Be cool. Don't take other people's shit. Fucking grow the fuck up. Hate that shit, man. I remember one day I was at the bar, right? I wasn't drinking, I was picking up a buddy, and she like she's like, Brian, is that your truck? I'm like, yeah. And I look out, some fucking guy is in the bed of my truck grabbing some of my fucking toolbox. Man, I was in there for like 5 seconds. I know who he is. He's one of these homeless motherfuckers that, sleeps behind the bar or whatever the fuck. So I jumped up, man. But before I even got to the guy out there, these other guys, I didn't even know these guys. They're like, hey, put that shit back. And the guy's like, oh, and he starts to run, right? And these guys fucking ran this guy down and started kicking his ass. And I ran up there and thanks, man. And I grabbed the toolbox and we all just walked off. I'm just like, hopefully that would teach that guy to stop stealing shit. Fuck. Stop stealing shit, folks. It's not cool. Just, I'm sure he, it was there, and in his mind, it's, oh, wow, that would, I can take that shit. I can take that to the fucking pawn shop and make $20. That's all they think about. It's just like, ugh. We all got to live together, so don't be an asshole. Yeah, I mean, I airbrush my vehicles. I don't know. I honestly, guys, I don't understand the speed painting thing. I get what it is. It's basically like you're doing washes on shit. And I guess that's fine. I don't know. It's just, I mean, this is the way I've been doing it for, like I said, 40 fucking years. And it's just like, it's kind of ingrained. And I guess, because this whole speed painting thing is new. This whole, like, everybody's fucking talking. I mean, I'm sure everybody's talking about it because it's fucking fantastic. But I'd have to buy paints, speed paints or whatever the fuck. And then it's just like, I don't know. One of those old grognards, it's like set in his ways or some shit. I couldn't be spray painting and talking to you guys either, right? You hear this air compressor sound, and in my old place, when I lived up in Northeast Texas, I had like a airbrush booth down in my basement. That was awesome. Just pop over to the next table, turn on the vent, and then just spray away. Don't have anything like that nowadays. That was a lot of fun. I used a lot of enamels back then. I would spray paint enamel stuff. I think oil-based paints work for certain things. They definitely work for vehicles. So okay. So you say that, Nerd. So Nerd says it's a single coat of paint that does color, mid-range, highlights, and shade all in one. So you're saying, like, I get one bottle of paint, pour it out, I get my brush, and I do it. I cover it in that paint, and then that paint is going to have all of that done to it. It's going to have color, which would be like let's say the base color, okay, and then you have the mid range. So that would be the shading, the shaded areas, and then the highlights would just be lighter areas on the raised areas. Okay, gotcha. And the shade all in one. What? How is that fucking possible? Oh, okay. Shit. Hum. Yeah, but okay, so let's pull back the layers. Let's cut the bullshit. Speed painting, okay? The paints. Are they like could I find World War II era fucking Chinese uniform blue colors? Could I find, or is it all like fucking 40K bright Blood Angels orange kind of bullshit? I don't fucking need that shit. I need earth tones and like greens, because I mostly paint, World War II stuff. So I could see like, those being great if you're painting a fucking like, the dragon or some shit. But like I need to do like, uniforms and stuff. It's improved speed paints. Damn. It's not we're not even at speed paints anymore. We're at improved speed paints. Damn. Next thing you know, guys, it'll be like you get like it's almost like was it picture pages? Remember he had like that like didn't he have like a marker or some shit and he like and it would just like create a whole picture. It's just it'll be like that. Speed paint will be just like boom. It's just done. That's awesome. I'll have to look into it, man. I just are they expensive? The speed paints? So they're like 90 colors? Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. I have to look into it. I'm actually at a stage right now where my paints have like you know how it is, guys. You 10 years ago you ended up you bought a whole bunch of brand new paint sets and all this cool shit and you create this huge paint collection. Then over the years, you use up some of them, the stuff that you use a lot, you just replace it or whatever. But then there's those paints that have just been sitting there that you don't really use that often. And then by now it's all just like whatever. It's time. I need to start buying some more paints. To be honest with you, a lot of my doing this, especially this painting challenge. This painting challenge is kind of exhausted some of the painting stuff, painting paints that I use. But I got that new job, so hopefully I'll have some extra cash, buy some paints. Yeah. So what does that mean? Reactivated? Like it like bleeds out or like doesn't work or because shit, there's nothing worse than having to repaint some shit you've already painted. That's awful. Oh, the paint ran off. That fucking sucks. Are speed paints really thin? They sound like they're really, really thin. Do they coat well? Like, do they do a good coat? It sounds like you'd have to base your stuff too if you do speed paints because it's using basically it sounds like a wash or an ink or some shit. Okay. I'll have to watch some videos on that shit. I just need to do that. That's one thing, guys. I do. I watch battle reports, hobby blogs, all that stuff. I do not watch how to paint videos. I don't know why I don't. I just don't. I'm sure there's a lot of knowledge out there I could take from. Let's talk about paint like companies out there, right? You've got like Citadel, Vallejo, AK with the P stuff, P100 or some shit like that. Reaper's got their own line. The traditional shit like Testers and Tamaya, uh, the Gunzo or Gunzimo, Guns shit, whatever that was. I don't even know they're around. It just first of all, it seems like a lot of these painting videos they use Citadel colors. I'm just not going to pay that money. So that might be another reason why I don't watch them is because I am not going to pay that much money for fucking paint. It's just too much. I'm not a big supporter of GW. I like GW stuff. Some of their stuff is fantastic. I don't agree with their business practices. So I try not to buy anything from them if I don't have to. I could go maybe $5 a bottle, maybe. That's pricey too. That's about as much as I paint for a bottle, like a bottle of paint. But I know there's lots of different paint lines out there. I haven't really tried. I mean, I've tried some. Over the years. I've tried several, but I just where do these fucking paint companies come from? I'm like, is there do they have like a mad scientist chemist that's making paint? I guarantee most of this paint comes from like the same like distributor. You know what I mean? It's like there's probably like a chemist, like a chemistry company that makes the paint, the pigments and all that shit. And then they just sell it to these companies and they just brand it. So I wonder if a lot of these companies are just seriously just really the same paint. P3, that's it. Scale 75. I've heard of that. But no, think about that, guys. It's like, I mean, does GW have do they have a chemist on staff that makes paint, like mixes it and like da 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 da? I mean, does Reaper, does like P3 and Scale 75? Do those companies are they paint companies? Like, or do they just buy all this shit from like a dedicated fucking scientific paint company and they just package it? That's interesting. I don't know that answer. So Joe says GW does have like a scientific scientist per se, or somebody that knows how to mix shit, paints and stuff. Okay. That's interesting. I always assume they just they bought from, some big old paint conglomeration or some shit. And so GW like gets the raw materials and like mixes paints and, creates the paint. Dude, that's weird. I wouldn't have expected that. So Army Painter and Vallejo do the same. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess. Okay, so shit. I mean, what are the? It's interesting. I don't know. I don't know anything about that business. Just making paint, it seems pretty fascinating. It's like, what shit do they use? Like, what is the stuff? the trait, or not trace elements, but the precursor elements that make fucking paint. Like, where are the pigments? What the fuck is it? Where do they get it? Now that you say that, Brian, I once I used some like old Space Marine Scouts, those big old thick ones with like the mohawks, and they like had a bolt pistol and a sword hanging out, the medals. I we were fishing one time, and I needed a sink, like an anchor or whatever they call them, a weight, and I tied up a couple of those fuckers on my line. It was pretty funny. It worked. I've used minis like for like a ceiling fan like handle. I would like, I tied like, it's a slot base, so I would tie the ceiling, like the little handle of the ceiling fan that broke off or whatever it was. So I just tied that string onto the base of a mini, and I would use that as a handle. Um, I keep a mini on my keychain. So like wherever I'm out, if I come across, a die-cast vehicle or some train that might work, I'll put it up to it and size it and see if it's to scale to the stuff that I use. I've been hitting the head with some minis before. Those that hurts. Okay, so here we go, guys. A question for everybody watching. Okay, what was the largest? Let me think. Yeah, let's do the largest. The largest wargaming piece that you ever, built. That you ever built. Let's not say bought, because you might have a bunch of shit that you bought but you never finished. What is the largest wargaming thing that you ever built and painted? And I'll start with mine. And I'm going to go with the weight of it. Um, Back in the early 90s, I bought the original Thunderhawk gunship in metal. And that thing weighed a fucking ton when it was finished. It was a hell of a build. You had to pin everything. It was not it was not a good kit. But that was probably the biggest, or at least heaviest fucking gaming piece that I ever messed with. Oh, Forge World Reaver, very cool. I had the old, like in the 90s, the resin. I think it was either Armor Cast or Forge World. The Reaver, yeah, it stood about that tall. You could like put the different arms on them and shit. I had one Reaver and I had two Warhounds of that era. Those were fun. But that Thunderhawk, it just weighed a fucking ton. It was heavy. You had to carry it with two hands. There was no practical way to play with it on the board. It was so fucking heavy. What about you, Mutt? I know you got all sorts of shit. Oh, Kings of War Giant. Okay. Dude, those Kings of War Giants look cool though. They're big too. They're pretty cool. One second, guys. Someone banging me. Bing, 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 bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing. Give me 1 second, folks. Don't you hate that when people get on their phone in the middle of a conversation? All right. But yeah, that's cool. Those metal Thunderhawk, dude. I know. Like, I was getting out of 40K at the time.
See, this is why.
What is it? I know. So this is something, guys. So if you go to Hobby,
No, Walmart.
Walmart. I think were these Hobby Lobby? Oh, these are all Walmart, right? Okay, so Walmart, guys. This is your brushes. They suck. So obviously, look, the wood doesn't go all the way into the brass like little holder, and they break all the time.
Painting on canvas.
On campus, still most of my brushes, baby, they're all glued right here together. Super glued. Do you want to super glue it together?
No, I just bought some from Hobby Lobby, so it should be cool. I would just use. Look at that.
Look at that shit. I mean, look at that. It doesn't even go all the way up, guys. It just ends right there, and it's hollow right here. Piece of shit.
Get what you pay for.
Get what you pay for, man. Oh yeah, dude. Bo, what's up? Dark. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you're a big dark elf guy. The dark elf. So Nerd says his dark elf dragon, but he made it. Oh, you made an airship for D&D. That's fucking cool. Yeah, at least the like I said, the older, these are the ones before Forge World. You know, there weren't any third party licensing for GW anymore. But so you could they had these bolts that I had they had like different weapon arms. One was like the Vulcan Mega Bolter, and then like a Turbo Laser Destructor, and then like the Whirlwind Launcher or some shit like that. But they had like bolts that you could screw the thing into the arm shoulder, and then the head did that and the arms did that. So yeah, so you could take the arms off at least without much problem, but the damn legs, if you weren't careful, those damn legs would snap, and they were a bitch to put back together. The key, and then once there's that break, it's never like strong anymore. But yeah, I know, dude. She's like she's painting. She's like, Brian, grrr. Yeah, she's always gritting her teeth, dude. So what about you, Bo? I know everybody go to, if again, so everybody on here, Joe, do you have a channel or anything, dude? If you got a channel, man, let us know about it. Now Mini Warmutt has his famous Mini Warmutt channel. Bo Paints has his Bo Paints channel. Nerd's Nerd has started up he's got a Facebook group, and he's an excellent 3D printer. So you guys swing over there and get all his badass free stuff, STL stuff. But yeah, Joe, if you've got you don't have a channel, okay. Well, I'm glad that you're hanging out with us though. If you ever do, man, let us know. We this crew here, we tend to we try to plug people, you know, that's in the hobby, you know, and make friends and make a community. You know, hobbyers. So what about you, Bo? What's the biggest thing that you like for gaming? That you have or have made in like currently or in the past or whatever. Mutt said his a giant that he had for what was it, I think it went blank. That's the giant from anyway. Oh yeah, 135 is awfully big, dude, for 28 mil or for 32 mil or whatever 40K. I don't even know what 40K is now. You know, it's so funny because it's like as time goes by, things are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like I remember when the the Marvel game came out and the DC game came out, I'm like, oh, cool, because I always think it's cool to have access to superheroes, right? For Weird War, I can just repaint them or use them in a wartime setting. But then they're big. They're probably like 35 mil, 40. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. I want to say Cool Mini or Not is starting to do that too. They're starting to slide to a larger, like, mini scale. Yeah, I could see you getting away with 135 scale certain vehicles in 40K. I mean, it's because those vehicles aren't realistic in scale or design, so you could probably get away with that. I used to be a big 135 scale model builder too. I mean, you could do proxies like one M113 proxies for like the rhinos if you wanted to, and I mean, hell, what one day we need to do is I know some of you guys, especially like you, Mutt. You're an old kit builder. We need to showcase our bits box because I got a massive fucking bits box, dude. And what's cool about it, it's all the shit that I do. It's all Weird War, it's World War II. It's like it's gaming, terrain bits and shit. We should do that. We should showcase what our bits boxes are. And if you see something in there that you want to trade or some shit, that'd be cool. You can do trades and stuff. Because I know all you guys have a bits box. Because I mean, it's inevitable. There's nothing like a well stocked bits box. Those are cool. Rogel Dorn has its own tank. And he's like he was one of the Primarchs, isn't he? Oh yeah, they did all the Primarchs, didn't they? That's crazy. How do you even play with a Primarch on the game? See, I mean, when you start to interfere with the canon, like I'm gonna take Rogel Dorn or whatever, right? I'm gonna play him on the battlefield in a game, and he dies. It's just ridiculous. Certain things shouldn't be like in the game because it's just like it should be so OP and that it could never be killed by anything. And if you did, you killed Rogel Dorn. I mean, it kind of screws up the whole canon and shit, right? That's why you have lieutenants and shit doing all the fighting, so you don't screw up the storyline. Unless it's weird Warhammer 40K. There you go. Let's start a new genre, guys. Weird War 40K. It's shit that's like zombies. Like the Imperium has been infested with zombies. So you got zombie space marines. Not fucking and we're not talking, we're not talking about, plague marines. We're talking like full-blown undead zombie, ultramarines or or space wolves or some shit. They're undead. Can you imagine that? A fucking army of undead space marines coming at you? Woo! No bueno. Or Eldar? Maybe Eldar space or Eldar zombies? Maybe the Farseer zombies? There's just like magical shit just zapping out of them just as they walk. There's some crazy shit. It'd be almost like a orc weird boy. Like they lose control and they just like start squirting out, spells and shit, hitting everybody around them and stuff. Then their head pops. But that'd be cool. Like, I never understood why, like in 40K, like, a lot of that stuff is so muted. There's so many possibilities in the storyline that are just completely muted because of gameplay. It's like we were talking about Plague Marines, man, dude. you should, anybody that is not in enclosed armor has to like wear gas masks or some shit when Nurgle's on the board, because I mean he's just the god of pestilence, man. You just, everybody's getting sick. They all die from some sort of like, toxin, some, why don't they have that shit? I know they used to have like a Nurgle's rot. I don't even know if they have that anymore. I remember that used to like kill you. Like if you get stabbed by like any of their blades or get shot or whatever. We used to do like in Rogue Trader, when the Slaves to the Darkness books came out, Slaves to the Darkness or whatever the Chaos books were, the one with Nurgle in it. We went a whole other level with that. We were like, okay, they had those blight grenades and like plague knives and shit. I'm like, we're sitting here, we're like, okay, so if they have that, got a big gross rusty knife, why don't we just like anything that is shot from a anything that is shot from a worshiper of Nurgle, right? Like the bullets that hit you and shit, if they're projectiles, right? If you get hit and wounded by one, you're fucking infected. You've got the Nurgle's rot, because the bullets have infected your body, and that's just them like that's just like a plague bear like sitting in a forge making bullets. He's just touching shit, shit's just dripping down on the metal and like his tools and stuff, and he's just making whatever, and it's just gonna happen. It's not like it's some special thing. It's just always gonna happen. That's what we did, at least. I have some stuff like that in my weird war, like pestilence, like carriers, plague bearers is what I call them, and they just like they're almost like they're not a dedicated like unit from an army. They're just kind of like some sort of like some supernatural like thing that roams the battlefields and just taints everything it comes across. I've got I've got some weird. I got rules for like projectors, uh, and projectors come in different categories. There's like flame projectors, chemical projectors, you know, gas projectors or whatever. So you can squirt out. It's basically like a flamethrower, right? But you could be squirting out chemical weapons. You could be squirting out, flames or defoliants or like flame retardants or whatever, to put shit out, or like because like we've got rules for like soldiers that are made of fire, right? And what happens is like when they're fire, they're gaseous, right? They're not a solid form. So like for you to like the bullets just pass through their bodies because they're not a solid form. So what you would have to do is you'd have to hit them with like these flame retardants or whatever. And what happens is it starts to put them out, and that when they start to flicker, out of that gaseous state, they become solid. And then that's when you can like hit them with something solid and actually wound them. Or you shoot your bullets or shooting some sort of like, flame, extinguisher type of chemical, or it's been coated with something special or some shit. I like getting like that in my gaming, guys. That's one reason why I suggest everybody to write your own game rules. Write how you want to. Find that rule system that you love, that you really resonate with, for your core rules, and then just go from there and just start coming up with all your own shit, and find people to play with your stuff. That find people that just want to play. They just want to have a good time. They want to build armies, cool armies, things that are neat. And then like when they come to your table and they say, "Hey man, I got this idea for, a flame trooper, in my army." And they shoot out flames or whatever. I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome, dude. Let's write some rules together. Let's come up with some rules for it." There you go, guys. You don't have to wait for fucking codexes or new updated rule systems. You don't have to do any of that shit. You just do it. And then what that does, guys, is it lends for people to like first of all, be communicative with your co-players. You form a community, and then you guys start become game designers. You start thinking about like, okay, let's not make this completely OP. Let's because in everything there's a counter to most weaponry and armor and all that shit. There's always a counter to the shit, right? So like if you do create a flame creature, whatever, you got to come up with like because what'll happen is like unless this is the initial engagement that the first time that the enemy has ever seen this thing, you know that their scientists back home and their engineers are creating equipment and weaponry that's going to counter that threat. So there's always a counter to the weapon. So you sit there and you talk about, you're talking about what you want. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. He shoots out flames. He's gaseous. He can't be hurt. But then you're forced to say, oh shit, then how would I actually hurt it? Then you start talking about ways to do it. So it's a lot of fun. And then you can like put limitations, like these troopers are rare, so the equipment to counterbalance them are rare. And if you do points, those things cost more or whatever. So it's not hard, guys. It's really not hard to create your own shit. And it's really not hard to be a gamer. Because I know you guys have these massive armies, right? You've been collecting for, 30, 40 years. You got these massive armies of these rule systems, right? And, you want to play with them, you don't want to lose them, you don't, whatever. But you know what? You can create them. You can still use them in the way that you want to use them. Play play 40K, in like how it's written. Space Marines are fucking gods. And you know what? You never see them. There's so few of them that they're never fucking around. I mean, they're only around for major engagements and all that shit. And then like when they are around, guess what? The enemy's got some crazy shit because that's the reason why the Space Marines are there, to counter that crazy shit. So, play like that. Play realistic instead of having fucking huge, massive. Like I never understood why Space Marines had vehicles. I mean, they're supposed to be like strike troops. And hell, there's only 1,000 of them in the chapter. I mean, it's shit. That's not a lot of dudes. So for them to have like a motor pool and like, people driving shit, piloting things, I don't know, man. You guys still there? You guys still hear me? I'm gonna try to finish all this flesh stuff, and then I'll probably call it. Okay, cool. Licking chicken. So on YouTube lately, I've been just curiously, I've been like looking at videos of people starting their own game stores, right? And unfortunately, most of the videos that I could find are like guys starting like either video game stores, like selling video games, or fucking card shops, like magic shit, Pokemon and stuff. Get to spraying, brah. Spray. And man, that like squashes any hopes of me of starting a game store. But it's funny because I've been talking to some people or whatever, and we're talking about you ain't gonna make any money opening up a brick and mortar, just not. Can't compete with the internet. There's too many competitors. But what you could do, and I think you could be successful at this. I mean, you're not gonna be rich, but I think you'd have a successful business, is have a place to game, like a game room. You know what I mean? So like, you're talking about, tables for people to war game on, tables for people to play cards on, maybe like isolated rooms for people to, do their role playing and all that shit, right? It'd be a place for people to converge on to game, not to buy gaming shit, because you just not going to compete. And I think there's a market for that, guys. I really do. I think there's a market for it. The tricky part is just figuring out how to make money on it to keep it open. You know what I mean? You're not, if you do sell product, more than likely it's going to be, maybe snacks, some food, drinks, shit like that. And we're talking about, and look, I mean, I'm a cheap bastard, and I'm like trying to think in my head, like, how would I be willing to pay like $5 to get in the door and play all day long, or however much it might be? Because you gotta come up with a way where the business itself can stay open. And again, I'm not trying to make money. I think that, like, there's ways to do it. Like, you can rent armies. Like, let's say, you have like we're talking about Space Marines. You have a store army of a Space Marines, right? And somebody wants to try out the Marines or the new codex they have or whatever, and you just, you rent out their army for the day and they play it out and they use it and all that shit. You can do shit like that. The store would have like general like scenery for people to use, and that would be like really sturdy shit, like, but it'd have to be real stuff, not like felt, splotches that represent treat. Man, fuck that. You need like, it needs to be something that people want to play on and it looks cool on the battlefield. And there was also a thing is that you can rent like these grandiose pieces, like, we have like the German chancellery of World War II. You could have like the Alamo. You can rent out the Alamo for the day for so much or whatever. That'd be fucking awesome. Oh, you got to drive an hour away to find somewhere to game? Yeah. There's a couple gaming places close. There's nothing in my town, but just a couple towns over there is. But, there's only one town. There's only one place I can think of that's close that has a place to game, right? But I mean, I don't like going there because the fucking owners, dude, the people who run it are just dumb fucks. They like, and look, I'm not a prude for the most part. I mean, far from it, right? I am like as grindhouse as you can get, dude. But like these guys, all they do is suck on their fucking vapes, sit there on their ass, and just read on their phone all day long. There's no interaction as like, there's no acknowledgement that you're a customer. And then if you are, it's just like, oh, here you go, okay, yeah, and it shares space with a fucking head shop or like a head vape shop, and it just a bunch of dumb fucks. But anyway, that's just me. Hey, baby.
Hey.
What's up?
I've been going on Taco Bell run.
You fitting? She's fitting, guys. Yeah, hook me up. Something taco-ish.
All right.
Or whatever. Yeah. So check this out. Me and Mel we got stuck in traffic yesterday, right? Coming home. And we're sitting there, we're talking about, like, and I'm always talking about, you guys, I repeat myself a lot. I apologize for that, but it's what I'm thinking about. But anyway, we're talking about, like, I would like go up to a guy, and that situation actually came up, nerd, where like she said something like, well, there's got to be a hygiene thing. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to approach the person who stinks and say, hey, man, don't take offense, but, you're a little right. I'd bring him away from his buddies. I don't want to ridicule him in front of people because, first of all, he's a customer. Second of all, I'm a human being. Third of all, I don't want to embarrass the guy, right? So I would pull him to the side and say, hey, man, you're a little stinky. And I give him a fucking, those little travel little travel BO or deodorants, I just give them a little deodorant thing. You just, hey, go to the bathroom, put some of this on, we're good. And if they're really stinky, I was actually thinking about having like a fucking, the bathroom has a shower, dude. You need a shower, dude? Go take a shower, man.
You're gonna get punched in the face. Is what you're
I
gonna.
can take a punch.
Well,
I can take a punch.
It's a good way to lose all your customers.
And she says you can't do that. It's impossible. You cannot do that, and not have them like get pissed off and scream and start hitting shit. And I'm like, oh no, I can make it happen.
Believe me, I put a sign up saying I will no longer be taking your boob money, sweaty boob money.
Oh, nasty.
And my manager like had a fit, almost fired me.
Oh, gross. Ugh. They smell as a pun. It's true. The smell is a pun. And listen, and then I look. There's a guy in the gaming circle around here, right? He's an older gentleman, great guy, a really nice guy, right? But he can stink. He can get stinky, and it's just like, and I think people have complained like rudely, and it's just like, come on, there's a way to do this with not. Some people have chemical issues, some people just aren't, but it needs to be addressed in a way that because look, I don't want a gamer not to become a gamer anymore because he got called on his fucking stink. You know what I mean? Maybe in my youth I would say, hey, Stinky, get the fuck out. I would do something. I might do something. I doubt I would, but I could.
That's why you have a food place like a restaurant that bakes
it's
like
different.
bread or something in there that it makes it smell really good in there, or maybe a bakery or something like that.
Yeah, Mel was saying, if you get your game shop, open it up next to like a bakery, so
no,
it just
open up inside.
Inside, yeah, like have a smell like that. That'd be cool.
Will be good.
Yeah, but you still smell that BO. Yeah. Well, that's another thing. So some of the guys were talking about like we could sell, booze, we can sell food, like make it a restaurant. But I'm sitting there like, okay, we're getting way too big here. Let's stay focused because to have a restaurant, you got to have all those food licenses, and you got to those fuckers come in and they like ridicule or whatever. Let's just keep it a game shop. But yeah, I guess there is going to be a point where you have to address the stinky. You got to address the person that like is screaming like a fucking madman. Like I'm pretty loose with my curse words, right? But like, we don't need some guy like threat or like, aggressively like, and they do that. There's some people out there that play aggressive. They, that's part of their game. That's part of their game is to be aggressive and like throw people off by their, what they say and what they do and all that shit. You have to fucking reel some of that shit in. Those are your tournament guys. But I think for the most part, I think it'd be a cool place for. And look, guys, I'm not talking. You want it family friendly to a degree, And we were even talking about like at a certain time, like at 5, all the kids got to leave, and like we'll have like start selling beer, or like people can play like their games that might like your minis that are sexy or bloody or whatever the fuck. I really don't give a shit. But again, I gotta think that there are people that do give a shit about that stuff. So I gotta like make concessions for the customer. You wanted a place, you wanted a place where like these kids can start there, like they start playing cards, with their buddies, and then they graduate from that to like, wargaming, and then, they're board gaming, and, you have like, board game night where couples go up there, whatever, whatever. But have a place for people to congregate at and like have a good time. And not some dumb fucks vaping, looking on his phone. Another thing I wanted to do, and I don't know how to do it, but like I would get like, we jokingly call them gaming whores, but they're not, they're just what you would do. You'd have these employees. And I'm thinking like how you would do it. And I would do it like maybe as a tip system, almost like a waitress or a waiter or something, where like you'd hire like a couple gamers, preferably women, because, come on, There's gonna be mostly men there anyway, and then women would probably get tipped really well, like really pretty girls. But what they would do, they would just game. They would know how to play all these games, and then they would like you would come into the shop and you don't have someone to play with, so you could like, you can get one of these girls, and they play with you, right? They play the game, and you tip them. You tip. Um, I think that'd be cool. Or it doesn't have to be a girl; it can be anybody. Just like somebody employed there that would play any game. Like some guy comes up and he has some new board game that he wants to play, right? Or some card game or whatever it might be, and he doesn't have anybody to play it with. And it's like, oh, don't worry, we've got staff on hand that'll play your game with you. And there you go. You got now. There's no reason why you can't just show up at the shop with an army, and then boom, you could play. Even if you don't know anybody, you didn't call anybody. There, you just show up and play. Boom, play, 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 play. You're done. You can play all day long. That'd be cool. Maybe those like arranging time maybe for some for the people to, because it's not like you're gonna have a unlimited amount of fucking the gamers to game with people. Maybe you have to set up appointments. Like, hey, I want to play a game of 40K or Kings of War on Thursday from this time to this time. I'm like, okay, come on in. We'll have Cindy's here for you. And there you go. You got someone, or Steve, or whatever the fuck. I think that'd be kind of cool. Have people just on hand to game. Yeah, dude. I've seen that, man. I've seen those assholes. Dude, there's always an asshole in the room, dude. You know what I mean? There's always an asshole in the room. And you just got to be cool, and there's always a way to play the asshole, right? You can get them out of the place, but yeah, you got to stick to it. Like if you're a fucking asshole, dude, you're gone. You're not welcome. There's you can fuck with each other. Give each other shit. As you're playing, that's all good. That's all good. That's part of it. But if you're serious and you're fucking gone, never to be back. And if you are come back, you're apologizing, you're manning up, and you're gonna say, "Dude, I was wrong. I apologize." I will give you concessions for that. But if you're a fucking asshole, gone. Stinky ass bread. Yeah, people would think that the bread's all stinky. I've only had again, there's probably been half a dozen people that I've known in my entire gaming career that have been stinky enough to like really be that guy, that we all talk about. And again, I mean, I know two of them personally. Like one, it's just something chemical. They got some sort of pH issues or some shit in their body. It's not like they don't mean to stink. It's just, but they do, and it has to be addressed. You're right. I mean, we all got to interact with each other, and it's got to be addressed. But like, I remember this one guy that we knew. He was an asshole too, so we didn't give a shit. But we called him Nurgle. Here's a bigger guy, and he just reeked. And yeah, we just they go, hey guys, it's grandfather Nurgle, dude. But yeah. But again, I don't want, look, I'm not a mean guy. I try to understand people, but sometimes, you gotta lay down but anyway, let's get back to the stuff. But so like, okay, so I was thinking of like, there'd be like a door fee. Like when you get into the door, you'd pay however much, at the door, and you got to go in. And you get to play all day long. Okay, you could do the door fee is for an all day, whatever. But then we would have like monthly plans. Like you could pay monthly, and you save some money, right? On like the whole door thing, right? And then there'd be like a yearly membership. Okay. And I was also thinking about like if you donated something at a certain value, like like if you donated like scenery or miniatures for like the house armies or whatever. If it equated to a certain amount of money, you got a free month, or you got a discount, or whatever. So what happens is, like, you form this community, and because look, we were talking about the poor earlier, guys. Like, I need to do this because I want everybody the chance to play, but I got to be real. You got to do it to where the doors stay open, right? So there's got to be some, like, agreement at the beginning that you're willing to give a little to have this opportunity and this place to play. So, but I'm sitting there, it's like, at what level can, like, those who are without, and I'm like, and I know a lot of gamers think that, like, this is not a poor man's hobby. And look, I get it, and they're right, but I'm not going to disparage somebody because of their fucking finances. You know, if they want to come up and play, and their buddies bringing them an army, and they want to play and all that shit, I don't have a problem with that. But there does have to be some sort of financial, like, transaction that allows the shop to stay open. And I was thinking like $5 for an all day kind of thing, and I would sell soda. I was thinking about, like, vending machines, because what you can do is you can make an agreement with vendors. I'm like, hey, dude, I got this shop. We get this much traffic in here, and why don't you bring a couple Coke machines, maybe some sandwich machines up here, and I get a percentage of the fucking sale. And like, you give me. I get it, I get whatever for the electricity to run it, or whatever the fuck. But then I was also thinking about, like, not let me read this of it. It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's true. I mean, you're right, guys. I mean, there's times when that happens. It's true. I mean, I guess it's in anything, right? It's like any kind of, like, if any kind of event or social gathering, that's going to be an issue. I think it's more like kind of like joked about or whatever for gamers, is because a lot of gamers were young, like we were kids, right? When we were gaming, and, like, you'd be in the basement, and you'd, like, we'd be like playing Twilight 2000 for fucking 2 days, down in the basement or whatever, and we would be eating pizza and fucking corn chips and drinking sodas or whatever the fuck, and just farting, burping, being boys, being kids, right? And I think that continued on, like, when we depict it to that level. But I guess there are instances where it is that level, like in a mature, individual. Yeah, because look, I want a place where chicks aren't going to be, like, scared to go into, where parents are going to be comfortable leaving their kids there to play, or whatever. And I'm not talking about, this ain't going to be some fucking daycare. You know what I mean? You're not going to give, here's son. Me and mommy are gonna have mommy and daddy day. Here's $5. Go up to the bunker and hang out until we come and get you. I mean, if they're children, they got to be accompanied by an adult. There's none of this, like, 5-year-olds running around fucking doing shit. They got to be. This isn't Thunderdome, dude. But like, I would say, like, 12-year-olds, could be there by themselves. Something like that. But yeah, I don't want to be anybody's fucking babysitter. That's not what this is about. But I do. But I want the kids involved, man, because we were fucking kids, dude. And if we're gonna have this hobby continue, we gotta let the the shorties in and check it out and, like, fall in love with it and continue it on, man. They gotta. But anyway, yeah. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately, like how to do a store. And I was thinking, like, because I don't want to commit to like figure lines. That's the big thing. I'm not gonna be some slave to GW's guidelines on to carry their shit. I'm not gonna be like, you have to buy this much from this distributor at any one time for us to get. Fuck that. So what I'm thinking about, bro, another thing I was thinking about doing is selling things secondhand, right? Or even opening up like commissions. Like, okay, so Joe, you're done with your, your high elf army from your fantasy, whatever, and you're done with them, and you're like, man, I don't want to fuck with pictures and the eBay fucking all that crap and the shipping and all that shit. So what you do, you go, hey Brian, I got this army I want to sell. Can I, put it up at the shop for commission? I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Just give me 10%. Everything else is yours. You don't have to fuck with shipping. It sits on the shop. It looks cool. It's like product. I put it in the case. I'll plug it. I'll be sure to push. I like, oh, you're looking for some high elves? Check this out, dude, or whatever. So the shop is like pushing, to try to sell this shit too for the people, and I think that's a good way. I think that's a cool thing to do. And then like, so you build some product without having to buy the shit, right? You get a little bit of money on the side for selling it. It's a place to go to sell. People are like, oh man, you sold all your shit where? Oh, at the bunker, the battle. I always wanted to call it the gaming bunker or Brian's bunker or some shit like that. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. Like people, like they got old rule sets that you don't want. You bring it up, whatever. Do that. And I also was thinking about like having like 3D printers, like like nerd. Like I have you in the back, chain you up to the wall, and then like we'll have like a catalog, right? Like a flip catalog, and it's just pictures of all these minis and scales or whatever, right? And you place an order right there. I mean, I guess you could do that online stuff too, whatever. And then maybe we have a couple 3D printers. I don't know. That might be getting a little heavy. But I think definitely the consignment stuff is a good idea. And if we did sell product, I would want to sell product that wasn't system specific. So like, I would love to sell terrain, paints, shit like that, hobby stuff. But mini lines, I'm not going to fuck with. Rule books, I'm not going to fuck with. Oh, you're home? Okay. I'll be there in a second. Print on demand would be cool. I think that'd be a good idea, but I don't know. Well, because it's attached to a location, people don't have to do that shipping. Prices are so outrageous. Like shipping is so outrageous now. Like shipping at any specific distance, right? Like so I think people, yeah. I mean, hey, they send you an STL, like, hey man, can you print this up for me? How much would it cost? And I'm like, yeah, here's my quote, dude, and come by a couple days or whatever, pick it up or call them when it's ready or whatever. It's a good idea, guys. You got some good ideas. Take notes. Maybe we can get something going. You guys come on, move down to Texas. We'll create a gaming empire. Yeah. Online printers. It's true, dude. It's like, I think most people are comfortable interacting with someone in person. Just because if there is an issue, there's a point of contact for you to interact with, and then like where your shit's going to be. It's at that location or whatever. So yeah, something to think about. So you guys think about this. You guys got some homework. Think about a good, because I'm not a business guy. I mean, I've done a lot in my life except make money. I've done a lot of different things in my life, and I like to say I know a lot of stuff, but the one thing I do not know is how to make money. Never have. But think about that. Think about a good like price for people to come into the shop and do their gaming. That would keep the doors open. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, lunch is ready. I'm gonna go eat some lunch. It's always a pleasure hanging out with everybody. Joe, it's nice to meet you, man. Come by look at the links below in the description. We're all over the web. You're always welcome, brother. It was great talking with you. Nerd, it's always a pleasure. Mutt, always a pleasure. And Bo, thanks for swinging by and everything. And whatever you guys do, keep it weird. See you later.